Hey guys, coldbrew here. Welcome back to another video. We have some summon news for you guys for the next following days. There are some champions up on offer for Tuesday and Wednesday with increased odds. It doesn't mean the chances to get a legendary are going to be increased. It just means the specific champions will have better chances. So let's go over the champions quickly and see whether it's worth it for you guys. Talk about the champions, how they affect each team possibly in the game, and how you can use them to just better your progression. So let's get started with the new ones. This is going to be for Tuesday the 14th. We're going to have Cheshire Cat actually available now through the summons with increased odds. It's basically going to be progressive odds, so 15x, then it goes to 20 and 25x if you don't manage to get this champion. So Ancients, Primals, and Sacreds is where you can get these champions, and then I'll follow up with the Void only champions. Okay, so Cheshire Cat, why is he good? He is an attacker that does better when he has perfect veil. So he does have perfect veil. He does an AoE attack with his A1, and his damage is based on attack and speed. So the more speed you have on this champion, the higher the damage is gonna be that he does. And also, this is by the way on all of his skills. Also, if he does have perfect veil on him, Terminator effects are 30% more effective, and he can also ignore defense and inflict 15% more damage. So he's basically crucial to have this champion with veil or perfect veil at all times. He applies it himself, by the way, through his A3 attack, which he attacks all enemies, and then before attacking, he applies the perfect veil and increase attack on him. So he basically boosts his own damage, ignore defense, and just does extra damage through the A3 if you use that first. And then if you get a kill, he can actually get an extra turn and then follow up with the A2, which is a triple hitting attack. It does have a better multiplier comparing it to the A3. And the way that his multipliers work is basically his speed is what is dictating how much attack is going to benefit his damage. So the higher the speed, the better it is. But obviously you can't go crazy with speed and expect, you know, to have good savage gear, for example, and do some damage with this guy. He can decrease the enemy speed with his A2, but he cannot do that on bosses, obviously. And then he can also boost his own speed. So can definitely be used, I would say, for the Hydra because of the fact that he can do high AoE damage. If he's got like an increased speed buff, that will be boosting his speed by a ton. So 30% on whatever speed you have him on, let's say 250. Boost that up by 30%. That is an insane amount of speed that he'll have, and then that will multiply his own attack multiplier on top of that, and then just do a lot more damage. And we'll be testing this guy out in the future. Honestly, before even thinking about anything, the fact that he has a self-buffing ability makes him like a solid nuker in my eyes without even testing it. So should you go for this guy? I mean, it's an unknown. It's a damage dealer. If you do have damage dealers already, I wouldn't go crazy about it. And then the next one is Duchess Lilitu, another perfect veil champion. She is one of the best protectors in the game because she's got a passive that reduces the damage you take from AoE attacks and then 15% from bosses, plus the fact that she applies perfect veil, which on its own, if you guys didn't know, perfect veil protects you from damage by a small amount. So veil and perfect veil are a little bit different. Perfect veil gives you a little bit of a higher damage mitigation than veil, and it helps you for AoE attacks, but it's nothing too crazy. It used to be better, but they did nerf it a while ago. So she applies block debuffs, increased attack, and then has a very solid revive as well that she can do for an AoE revive with 70% health on everybody, plus the veil on top of that. Makes your team very tanky, basically, just by having her. And then it has an A1 that can shield champions. Fantastic overall. If you're gonna be summoning, I would say this one will be the one I would be targeting and using the 15x progressive on. Then we've got Fural available again through 15x. We had him some time ago, I believe. Fural is used in the most endgame of scenarios. So if you're somebody who's looking to get into endgame, Fural is the one that boosts your team a ton with this passive. So 2 or more buffs increases resistance, 3 or more increases accuracy, 4 or more increases damage. So you put him in a team where he's not the only buffer. So basically he can do more stuff when the team has more buffs. Okay, so your team becomes stronger with the more buffs you have. He applies 2 buffs, so you need more buffs through your own team. So increased resistance, perfect veil is fantastic, but you need more. He can apply debuffs, decrease accuracy, block buffs, fantastic for both the Hydra and the Chimera. And also even the clan boss, actually, the block boss is actually useful. And then he's got a decreased speed attack on his A1. It's not an AoE, but it's still very good because he can also ignore 20% of the target's resistance. You don't need so much accuracy on this guy when attacking, let's say, the Hydra or the Chimera. But, you know, he is still very, very good because of this crazy passive that he has. And then we follow up with Tatura, Rhymehide, and Cadravon. So Tatura, Rhymehide, why would I use Tatura, Rhymehide? I would use Tatura, Rhymehide if I'm somebody who's trying to get, you know, a perfect veil going, a defensive-based damage dealer, and then maybe get a team going with the block debuffs and increased defense. If I compare the other 15x champions currently on offer, guys, I wouldn't go for Tatura. Great champion, but not as good as all the other ones. And then Cadravon does have uses in PvP, but not so much anymore. I would say out of all the champions currently that I've mentioned, he is the least, you know, of a choice for me as a damage dealer. He's just a damage dealer. I would go for the cat instead of this guy, if I'm going to be honest. And then finally, from the Void champions, we're going to have Yumiko, a very, very strong reset champion. If you don't have a Yumiko, it is actually really nice to try and get her. 15x chances. Not as good, obviously, when there's a 2x going on, but the 15x, maybe you pick up a Yumiko, maybe not. She's fantastic for dungeons. I would recommend focusing on her, comparing it to Little Miss Annie. So Little Miss Annie can do a lot of damage as a Void champion. She got buffed, I believe, in the last year or so in terms of damage potential. Very strong single target hit attacks. And then she can also apply heal reduction, which can be useful for stuff like Amius. But again, out of the two, Yumiko is the one I would go. If you've got a Yumiko already and you really want to summon Voids, go for Little Miss Annie, I guess. But I wouldn't go crazy with Voids for an attack-based champion that is basically single target. What you want is the AoEs, right? You want the AoEs, unless you're somebody trying to build crazy teams and you've got everything else already, basically, and you just want to get Little Miss Annie. So that's for Tuesday, guys. For Wednesday, things change up a little bit. We again have 15x progressive. Again, Ancients, Primal, Sacreds, and Voids. Voids, I'm going to call them out in the end. So let's get started with Nave. So Nave is one of the newer champions, again, offered through this Alice the Wonderland kind of theme. Does have a provoke, has a continuous heal, unkillable, and taunt on the A2 with an AoE attack that can steal buffs. And then he's got a swap HP from the target, and then an equalizer skill plus applying heal reduction that cannot be removed. It's a protected debuff. Obviously very strong for Amius. I would say he is a brand new champion that has uniqueness in his kit. Applying heal reduction can be very strong. And then also at the start of this champion's turn, fully restores this champion's destroy max HP. When attacked, destroys the attacker's max HP by 20% of the damage received, stacks up to 50%. So he punishes champions attacking him. He's going to be very strong against single target champions because the taunt that he applies, he will become unkillable. If he's fighting something like Roros, he won't be unkillable. He'll just die. But again, it all depends how strong the enemy Roros is and how tanky you make this guy if he can take the hit. I doubt it though. But yeah, this guy looks okay in my eyes, but nothing too crazy in terms of the choice for the non-voids. Okay, then we got Freya being offered next. Freya first things first, where is Freya? I think she's a barbarian, right? So Freya, would I go for her? If you're looking for something that has a provoke, not 100% chance on the A1, you can do that. Helps for the Hydra. Increased defense and a shield is also available as an AoE attack, and then it has a cleanse plus block debuffs on a 3-turn cooldown plus Terminator feel. Very, very strong skill, but will make things difficult for the normal clan boss. Good for the Hydra, and a nice passive to stack up defense and prevent your damage dealer from dying on an active effect and give them an extra turn also. So strong as the damage dealer, can be used for PvP also because of this, but I wouldn't go crazy yet for summons. Next one out, we've got Kyoku. Kyoku is a solid champion, but I would much rather just get this champion out of a random shard. She does have a way to apply block damage on herself, kind of do an AoE decrease attack and do ally protection, as well as the block damage plus the extra turn. Very strong champion. I take that back. Strong champion, not very strong champion, but I wouldn't summon on a 15x progressive for her. Just, it doesn't make sense. Next one up is Blizzard the Howler. So Blizzard the Howler, he was a fusion, I believe. Was it last year? He's got a freeze. He's got an AoE freeze. He's got a way to remove stun, sleep, fear, true fear, freeze, provoke, and petrification. Can increase defense, can apply ally protection. Overall, good champ, but nothing too crazy. Again, I wouldn't summon for this guy. And then finally, we've got Giath. Giath, the Truth Shield. I think Giath is somewhere here. Is it here? Do I have Giath? Let me see. I think I got Giath. Can't remember when though. I hate the fact we don't have a search function here. There she is. No, I don't have her. So Giath is a Nitro champion that can do reflect damage, ally protection, strengthen, and increase resistance buff on this champion. So AoE buffs plus single target buffs makes her a solid candidate for a Head of Mischief tank for the Hydra. So the more buffs you have, the better it is for you, because the enemy Head of Mischief will be targeting you. AoE attack, so before attacking, boosts ally buffs by 1 turn. Damage inflicted increased by 5% for each buff. It's got a way to also apply decreased crit rate, decreased crit damage. And if she has applied those debuffs, she does like an extra hit. So the way that she applies those debuffs is through her reflect damage buff. So whenever an ally is under reflect damage and gets attacked, can apply decreased crit rate, decreased crit damage on the attacker. This effect cannot be resisted. Can be strong for PvP. Can be very strong for PvE as well, because decreased crit rate helps a ton with just eliminating RNG with attacks being taken against you. That's basically it for her kit. Again, nothing too crazy of a champion. Out of the 2 days that we have champions being on offer, I would say focus your summons on day 1. The Cat and Duchess Lady 2 and Fural are the prizes out of the non-voids. And then finally for voids, we do have the MVP Siphi on offer. Fantastic champion. Even the meta changes, you know, we go all speed, she's there. We go in a different, you know, protection meta, she's there. Stone skin meta, she's there. Siphi is fantastic. Sleep debuff that cannot be resisted, that you can control enemies in live arena especially, is very strong. Block debuffs plus increased defense plus increased speed plus Terminator feel on her A2. Revive with full Terminator and one of your allies. And then if you got Rotos as well, unstoppable duo. Fantastic champion. Can be used in all of the dungeons basically to help you progress through, especially Sand Devil. She is key for the endgame teams because of an unresistible sleep that she can apply. Fantastic champion. My voids would go honestly for her if you don't have her. And then if we have a look at the other void champion, it's gonna be Grazor, Iron Gut. So Grazor is very strong for the Hydra. Has a way to apply provoke, has a way to apply shields, has enemy max HP damage, has increased resistance and increased defense buffs. Overall, his kid shouts, use me in the Hydra and you won't regret it. So definitely try out Grazor if you're somebody who's looking for more damage for the Hydra. But out of the voids, there's a lot of options. If I'm gonna be honest, with Yumeko on offer, Siphi on offer, and then Grazor, finally Annie. That is, I would say, Yumeko and Siphi is fighting for the slot of who is the best one out of the 2 days for summons. So definitely do your own diligence, guys, with what kind of champions you might be looking for. Again, the odds will not be higher. It's just the chances for those champions. If you see a Lego, will be a little bit higher with a 15x chance. That's it for today, guys. Thank you all. I'll see you in the next one. See you guys.